Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about emotional intelligence. One of the YouTubers I really respect and watch a lot did a YouTube video yesterday about how emotional intelligence doesn't exist, and it was something created by feminists to control men or something like that. I don't know, but I want to go over a couple things, my thoughts on it. First of all, what is emotional intelligence? It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own and other people's emotions. It's also known as emotional quotient. And the benefits of emotional intelligence is people with high EI tend to have more satisfying relationships and greater psychological well-being. They are also better able to collaborate, diffuse tension, and resolve conflict. I think those are some benefits that we could all benefit from, and it sounds a lot like being a good leader because a leader should be able to collaborate and diffuse tension and resolve conflict. And if you believe anything about the Briggs-Myers scores, I'm INFJ, and I'm supposed to be the advocate, and I'm good at resolving conflicts and that kind of thing. So, that's something that I think that my emotional intelligence has really benefited me. But I do want to go point out something that the red pill community tends to be right about, and that's with emotional intelligence and therapy and that kind of thing are usually things that women will tell you that as a man you could really benefit from. And it's true that when I first got married, of my 33 years in marriage, my ex-wife told me from the get-go that I didn't have much emotional intelligence and that I really needed to brush up on it. And in fact, even after we're divorced, she mentioned that I still didn't have any emotional intelligence, but I will admit that I didn't know anything about emotional intelligence when I was really young and didn't have the ability to resolve much conflict or diffuse tension or to collaborate well with people. I didn't have any leadership skills. But as when the relationship first started in our marriage, one of the first things I did is go out and read about emotional intelligence, read books on it, and find out exactly what it was about. And science does tell us that the people that I might give some references to some of the studies, but um, the people that describe themselves as having more empathy tend not to be very empathic. And I think in the same way, people with low emotional intelligence probably claim that they have very high emotional intelligence. Um, but when I learned about emotional intelligence, and I found by the end of the relationship, I'd grown so much and I'd gone to a lot of different therapy and that kind of thing, is that learning about controlling your emotions is a very internal cognitive process. And by studying Ram Dass and that kind of thing, I was able to center myself through, meditation and calming and all that kind of thing and be at peace with myself in most situations. You encounter trauma, you encounter all kinds of drama in your life, and you have different ways of dealing with them. But it wasn't until, really centering myself and learning about different things like Hinduism and that kind of thing, and yoga and doing meditation, was I able to really center myself. And all the things that I studied about emotional intelligence started really taking shape in my head, and I was able to see things, like Michael Singer also writes about how um, the way you feel is really a condition of how you see the world, that you take every situation for at face value. If at first you think that something is a bad thing, it's not really bad. It's just that you have to kind of put it in a different perspective, look at it from a different lens, and you'll understand that it really wasn't a bad thing. That was either a learning experience or it was a good thing. Either way, you're learning and advancing. You say, hey, I don't want any more of that, and you step away and you learn ways not to and experience pain or anguish or anxiety or depression. It's a learned skill that you take over time. And the person that had spoken about emotional intelligence not even existing was a master of emotional intelligence. And it's really easy to say when you're at the top of the game that it doesn't exist, or that it's something created by them or something like that. And ironically enough, there are some red pillars that say have these retreats, and go on some mushroom retreats and do a bunch of physical stuff among men. And if you're selling a product, then it kind of makes sense that you're pushing that, oh, therapy is no good and isn't going to help help anyone, or that emotional intelligence doesn't exist, so don't try and learn about it, because it's really when you learn and center yourself that you start realizing, hey, maybe this emotional intelligence really does mean something. And hey, maybe the best leaders are able to resolve conflict and diffuse tension and collaborate, right? So, what are the reasons why they push those things? Well, they all have courses on how to act better and how to, see the world from a perspective where you're in power, where you're in charge. But as obviously, if you are able to collaborate with people, then it's not necessarily the center focus. And also, if you're able to get rid of depression, then that's something that you learn, and it's not something that you can get from a pill, like, taking some prescription Prozac or that kind of thing. It's something that you can learn over time by, again, using meditation and that kind of thing. So, learning about emotional intelligence, learning about the kind of things that make it so that you're able to collaborate with someone is actually traits that you could definitely use to have a successful relationship. um, Early on in the relationship with my ex-wife, having read the books on emotional intelligence, I was able to really know deeply and truly how to get through to someone, how to communicate better, how to try and get my needs met, how to try to meet the needs of others, and that kind of thing. And you learn all these things, and that's when you realize, that maybe you're not in a very reciprocal relationship. And it took me 30 years to realize that, but the point I'm trying to make is that um, the emotional intelligence that I was learning by studying and reading and trying to better myself and grow through self-help books and that kind of thing was exactly what she was asking for at the beginning of the relationship. But then when she got it, it didn't seem all that great. Like, I don't need to grow, but you're the one that has to go out there and grow. And, it's true. You should always be growing in life. That's how I was able to be a much better businessman, when I knew how to relate to people and mastering how to be able to relate and collaborate and that kind of thing. Those are the things that make you a leader, not just by being assigned power and then manipulating people, which is kind of what some of these courses that they seem to offer want to do. It paints women as the enemy, and then you collaborate among men, because going to therapy is something that a feminist movement, and they're trying to teach you that men are the bad people. But in reality, going to therapy is able to better be in touch with yourself. And even with red pill, you're learning a lot about what the red pill has to offer. The data and the information that red pill has to offer is invaluable information, but it helps you realize that, being a stoic, that being in control of yourself and your emotions is actually a real positive. And emotional intelligence is not only a real thing, but getting to learn it makes you much easier to relate to others. And, hopefully down the road, you'll have some influence and be able to tell others and teach them about some of these skills, which is what I hope to do with this channel. So if this is the kind of content that you like, then please like and subscribe.